Welcome back and thank you for staying with Metropole Business Center. This is Tech Tuesday where we talk matters technology. All right, so let's move on. And Africa's Business Heroes, the flagship philanthropic program for the Jack Ma Foundation, whose aim is to address barriers to economic development and entrepreneurship across Africa, is ongoing, and the competition is in its top 20 stage, where only the top 10 will be assured of each walking away with a share of some good amount from the 1.5 million USD offered by the foundation. Now, this year's top 20 entrepreneurs represent 11 African countries, including Nigeria, which has 4 participants, Kenya 3, Uganda 3, South Africa 2, Egypt 2, Botswana 1, Rwanda 1, Ghana 1, Tanzania 1, Cote d'Ivoire 1, and Togo 1. Of these, 45% are female. All right, today we get to feature one of the participants and their innovation, but why are we featuring them at this early stage? Well, that is because it's one of Africa's first running shoe company, proudly made in Kenya, Enda Athletic Inc. Navalayo, karibu sana.
Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Yeah, great. So great to have you. Navalayo Osembo is the co-founder and CEO, Enda Athletic Inc. So Navalayo, let's get to understand why Enda in the first place, but let us start with the competition first. How you feel about it and how you felt when you were selected, now that you're still among the top 20.
We were very much excited to be selected as part of the top 20. I mean, the competition, Jack Ma is someone I admire very much. When he came to Kenya, I didn't get a chance to meet him, but some of my friends did, and they were very elated. And so to be in the top 20 finals of a competition championed by his foundation, and also just seeing the opportunities available, yeah, we are very much excited to be here.
Great. So how did you get to know about the competition, or, you know, like it's going on and all that?
I came to know about it when Jack Ma first visited Kenya, because the competition was a flagship after his visit in terms of what to do more in Africa. And so I knew about it then. I think I applied the year after. I didn't get in, but then this year we tried, and luckily we've kind of
finally got your head in.
Yes.
All right. Yes. So let us understand Enda Athletic. It's the first, you know, Africa shoe running company.
Yes.
Yes. So talk to us about that. What motivated the idea, the inception of Enda Athletic? Tell us your story.
So Enda was very much about, you know, like getting social justice in the running world, right? So I grew up around runners. My father was in the military, and also I come from a place near Eldoret.
Wow.
And so one of the things you really see is how much pressure we put on athletes to support the community.
Yeah.
And I kept on thinking there must be a way to get money from this sector other than depending on a few individuals.
Yes.
And so Enda was the culmination of that thought, kind of saying, what's the best way to get into the sporting industry, where somewhere Kenya is really good at, and running was that sector, and we figured out running shoes was the best way to get into that.
How old are you now?
Officially, we are about 4 years old, but it took a much longer time to do the preparation to get the company started. Yes.
Great. So let's understand the kind of running shoes that you make, the cost, and how the market is like generally. Being in the business for 4 years now, and then now aiming for 1.5 USD, dollars, million. Yeah. So how has the market been like?
The market has been really good. I mean, globally, if you look at the effects of the pandemic, you'll see that people have gone towards running. So running is actually seeing an increase in share, in the footwear share, and it's also seeing an increase in terms of number of people joining races and number of people finishing races. The times are slower, but the numbers are many, which means a lot of regular people who are not necessarily professional athletes are getting into running globally. So as a result of that, that's the trajectory and the trends we are kind of like latching on and hoping to grow our brand, so that we are saying these are the first shoes made in Kenya by Kenyans, working in conjunction with Kenyan athletes who are the best in the world globally. I personally don't see how better it could get. You know, this is it.
Yeah, how better can it get? All right. So we have very beautiful pair of shoes here, all sports, made in Kenya, everything bought in Kenya, sourced for here locally.
So some parts are not available locally, but we've kind of gotten to the threshold of made in Kenya. So we are basically trying to improve. Our goal is by the end of 2025 to have the whole product manufactured in Kenya.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so what exactly comes from here?
From here, basically, is more of the process. So we're still getting a lot of the parts from Asia, but then we're moving the process. So, for example, one process called strobel stitching, it was done before in China. We've invested in the machinery and the capacity of the workers, and now we're doing it here. Now we're in the process of working with another vendor to see if we can create the uppers. Once that's done, we move the process here. So it's kind of like a progressive step, but with the ultimate goal of making the shoes in Kenya and sourcing from Africa.
Buy Kenya, build Kenya. All right, so now like this one, how much does it go for?
So that's a daily trainer. It's called the Lapatet. The Kalenjins will say Lavatet. And it
Lapatet.
is, yes, it's a daily trainer. It goes for $120, which is like 12,000 shillings. And so this is ideal for marathons. All the shoes are basically designed to reward the midfoot strike, which is where Kenyan athletes are really good at. And also about connectivity to the ground. We try to make sure that as much as possible, we're not providing too much cushion, because as human beings, we need to have that connection to the ground.
And it's actually very firm.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but it's
light
a little
and firm at the same time.
Yeah, but towards under the midsole, if you press it, you'll see it's much more denser, like in this particular area. So it kind of gives you that propulsion when you're running. And this was our debut product. It's called the E10. Of course, after
this
E10.
Is para?
Lapatet.
Lapatet.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is E10. So the E10 is a lightweight road trainer. It's very light. And this one goes for 10,000 shillings. It was the first product we did. We've just done a remodel of it. And this one is
Why
the one...
E10?
Because the story, yes, our shoes have stories. Each shoe is inspired by a different story. What we want to do is to educate the world also about Kenyan running culture, Kenyan history, and about Kenyan runners as well. So it's not just a product we are selling; we are also selling the story and the culture of Kenya.
The story behind
exactly. And so E10 is also known as the running mecca. You know, it's like the place where all athletes train. It's the place that has the highest concentration of world medal champions. And so we give ode to the E10 by naming it the E10. It has 12 lines on the side, which represent 12th of December, which is Jamhuri.
Wow.
And that's when Kenya got its freedom. And our logo is the tip of the spear from the coat of arms. So, and all our shoes at the bottom have the word Harambe. Because, you know, Enda came into existence through crowdfunding, literally like an online Harambe. And we believe that a community, it's the same way the things we learn from athletes, it's about community, it's about working together, and that's what we want to grow in the running space.
Okay, this one, you have said it goes for how much?
For 10,000 shillings.
10,000.
Yes.
Okay, 12,000, 10,000.
Yes, and the newest kid on the block, we're going to launch it in a few weeks. This is my favorite one. It's called the Kubifora. So the Kubifora is a trail shoe. It's ideal for running on the mountains, on trails, and it is named, of course, after Kubifora, where the early remains of Homo erectus were found in northern Kenya, which is where people became a species. We became a running species in Turkana as human beings. And so it has the numbers 1470, which is part of the naming system of the skull of Homo erectus.
Why is the 1470?
On the lace.
Okay.
Yes. So right here. So you see we are also educating people, right? If you look inside, you'll see also on the tab here, there's a little bit of an imprint of the skull. That was the skull that was also found.
Detailed.
Yeah, but that's also the thing. So what we are trying to do is to not just produce shoes, but to pass on our history, our tradition, so that people
tell
know.
A story.
Exactly. People know that Kenya is indeed not just the cradle of mankind, but it is the cradle of running. And it is about time Kenya actually had a running shoe. So that is what we are aiming to do.
This one is going for?
This one is going for 12,000.
Same as the Lapatet.
Yes. Although we're going to be launching a Kenyan program soon that's kind of trying to get more of our shoes into the hands of Kenyans. But as soon as that's done, we shall have the details on our website.
Wow, great.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about how you intend to use the funding. Just in case you are among the top 10, how do you intend to use the funding, if you will?
So one of the things we've really been working hard is to do local research and development. What we're trying to do is basically say, okay, what in Kenya can make this? and what in Kenya can make the sole. So basically breaking down the shoe into different parts and saying what can we get locally, what can we get East Africa, what can we get around Africa. And so most of the money will go towards research and development, just to make sure that in as much as we're doing some things in Asia, we are also putting effort to find alternatives or supplements in Kenya and Africa, and then bring that together. So R&D is part of it, and also just investing in the right people to help us really do the best marketing that we can. You know, at the end of the day, the running shoe industry is also very much about passing the message, communicating, and we want to have the best of the best to help us get to where we want to be in a couple of years.
Any partnerships you are looking forward to?
I can't say now due to confidentiality, but we're definitely in line. We have some really great partnerships coming up, and
something great coming up.
Absolutely great things coming up, and I can't wait to share them with the world. Yeah.
Wow, great. Okay, so when is the grand finale, and what can people do? Like maybe any voting, or what do you need from us? What kind of support do you need from us?
Right now, the ABH will post sometimes about different businesses. They will also post different posters that we've done to pass our message, showing basically what the industry was before we came in, and how it is now that we came in. So people going into social media on the handle of Africa Business Heroes can be able to kind of vote for Enda in terms of selection. However, the final vote in terms of the businesses that proceed forward is up to the ABH judges. So I think it's also to encourage us. And at the same point, it's also just to get to the top 20 is a big deal. You know, it's been there were 50 amazing entrepreneurs, and so even just supporting the Kenyans that have made it. That's myself, Tony Ndungu, and Charlotte Magai. You know, to just support each other as athletes do. Ultimately, you want to have a 1, 2, 3 podium finish, and so to support not just Enda but the other brands as well that have made it this far from Kenya.
Okay, great. So one last as we wrap up, if you don't happen to win, what future prospects do you have for Enda?
Winning is, I'd say, supplemental. It's not the plan. We always have a plan. And so Enda is going to be a top 3 running shoe brand in 5 years. I can bet my money on it. Like, you know, like we are determined to get there. And so that's part of what we have. I want us to sponsor more athletes. And by sponsorship, I mean creating some competition in that space, creating an opportunity for athletes to be able to go back to another company and say, I have a better deal from so-and-so. Are you going to match it? I do think there needs to be competition in that area. And also through our foundation, we hope to be able to give athletes more agency. I still feel like where we are now, they depend on agents to get them to races. And I'm like, in this day and age of internet, I do think they can save more money and add more to their pockets if they're able to learn some skills that allows them to get into the races themselves and keep more of the money themselves, which is what we ultimately want, empowered athletes.
Great. Asante sana, Nava.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great. All right. Navalayo Osembo, co-founder and CEO Enda Athletic, Africa's fast running shoe company. All right. We take, we continue, and that's one of the innovations that we have. And all right, let's go on to the rest of the tech innovations that we have in place for you today. All right. So let's look at 2 tech innovations changing the world and how we live. Electricity. Now, would any new advancements have been possible without the breakthrough of electricity? Obviously not. Since early discoveries like Benjamin Franklin studied it and investors like Nikola Tesla tested ways to turn it into power, electricity has not only been fueling generations of new innovations, but also become an irreplaceable tool of modern life. All right, another tech innovation, the laser. Now, discovered in 1960, lasers were so before their time. Scientists were not even certain where exactly they could be applied. Since then, lasers have found their way into nearly every sector, from medicine to consumer electronics to manufacturing. In fact, now, on an average day, nearly every person comes into contact with a laser in some shape our phone. All right, those are some of the tech innovations changing the world and how we live. And now we live with the cybersecurity tip of the day, and we look at phishing. Now, phishing, it involves the telephone to scam people into giving away their sensitive information that can then be used for identity theft and fraud. To protect yourself from phishing, you need to, 1, remain calm and look for signs that the call could be a scam. For instance, government organizations and banks, they will never call you over the phone. A scammer will tend to make you feel tense and ask of a lot of unlikely personal questions. And number 2, protect your phone number like you'll protect your sensitive information. All right, that's your cyber security tip of the day, a look at phishing. All right, thank you so much for joining us. You can catch a repeat of this conversation on our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well at Metropole TVKE. My name is Tabitha Muthoni, and until next time, be a game changer.